Alright, in this video we're going to be talking about the main things for acoustic guitar players to be focusing on while they play. The first main thing that we're going to talk about is play the right chords. And that seems super self-explanatory, right? We all want to play the right chords. But sometimes it's tempting to add something extra, do something a little different, and then because of that thing, we actually miss the chord and play the wrong thing. So a few tips on this. We recommend memorizing the chords as much as you can before you are on stage and playing with the band. That's gonna give you some muscle memory, make you feel a lot more comfortable and confident with playing the right chords. And just as far as like a why, thinking about the overall band and mix as a house, all of the pitched instruments are laying a harmonic foundation for that melody that's being sung to sit on. And so we want that harmonic foundation to be rock solid. So if we're all locked in and playing the right chords, it actually makes that melody easier to follow along to, makes it sound better, makes it sound more cohesive as a whole. So play the right chords. Alright, the next main thing to focus on is going to be locking into the click. And again, this one seems super self-explanatory, but it's really tempting to let services and rehearsal be the first time that you actually are practicing with the click. So if you're practicing alongside the recordings of the songs or on your own, you're actually training your ear to listen to other instruments or the vocal to find the tempo of the song. So we want to spend time preparing beforehand to lock into the click as we practice. The best thing that you can do as a bandmate is play the right chords and play them in time. That's going to give everyone the best chance of success in us sounding cohesive. The third main thing that we're going to focus on playing acoustic guitar is playing with finesse. So thinking about, we want to play the right chords, we want to play them in time, but we also want to consider how's our instrument sound while we're playing. It's really tempting to want to play super loud when the whole band is loud, but if you're hearing as you play that the strings are rattling or it's exhausting to listen to, that means you're not playing with finesse. Or on the other end of the spectrum, in the quiet parts, if we're not hearing the full actual note projecting out of your instrument, that's also not what we want. So sometimes that actually means bringing your louds down a little bit and your soft dynamics up a little bit so that we're getting the best quality sound out of your instrument, that we're hearing both the rhythm and the tone of it. So play with finesse. Okay, the fourth main thing to focus on is going to be to think rhythmically. And so when you're thinking about the acoustic guitar, it actually is a really rhythmic instrument, especially when it's mixed with the full band. So we want to think about how does it come alongside and accompany what the drummer is doing, because the acoustic guitar sits in the same frequency as something like the hi-hats or a shaker. So if a drummer, for example, is playing a groove that's playing 16th notes on the hi-hat, we don't want to just match that note for note, right? Because if one of us is off, it's going to sound muddy. It might be like just too much. So we can either play just big open strums on the downbeats or some kind of simplified version of that, where we're not hitting every 16th note with them, but we're still playing alongside them with that and filling some of that space, but letting that be the primary thing. And then on the other side, if they're not playing anything in that frequency, like they're playing something like a tom groove, that's your chance to play maybe more of a subdivided part and fill that space in that frequency. So as the acoustic guitar player, you want to think rhythmically and how do I complement and go alongside what the drummer is doing. Alright, and the last main thing is to utilize dynamics, and as an acoustic guitar player, I want you to kind of think almost in reverse, okay? So hear me out on this. When I think about a song and the dynamics of it all, the acoustic guitar is sort of like the icing on the cake, right? The drummer is really going to be leading the really big dynamic shifts. So if you think about everyone else in the band, if we're getting to a really big section of a song, if we're all playing 100%, that actually does not sound good, right? It's too much going on. There's no point to focus on. So as an acoustic guitar player, you still want that energy, we want that frequency, but we want to play with finesse, we want to play in time, we want to play a simple part on those big parts. However, on the down parts, the temptation is like, oh, it's a quiet part, so maybe I shouldn't play at all. When actually that's a time for maybe the acoustic guitar and the piano to be a little more highlighted. So when we're thinking about dynamics, think about the overall big picture of the band. In this section of the song, like what role am I as the acoustic guitar playing? Is this a place where I need to add energy? Or is this a place where I actually need to step back, play a simple part, and let some other instruments lead the dynamic shifts? So we want to utilize dynamics, but we really want to think about that in the context of the bigger picture. We don't want to lose the energy in a down part because we're dropping out too much.